Welcome back into the Golden Tee Lounge. Congratulations, you made it to Thursday, almost halfway through the day. It means tomorrow's Friday. I'm Kevin Lindsay. If you guys are just joining us for the first time, welcome, thank you. It is time to take a look at today's Throwback Thursday daily contest on Rhineland, our German course from Golden Tee 2018. This is going to be a fun one. Almost drivable setup. If you've got streaks, you may be able to get there in one. But even with grabbers, nice, simple, easy chip. This is the first time that I'm playing today's setup. Let's take a look at the daily contest leaderboard. $800 in the prize pool today. Ryan McCook, the gambler, in first place with a 32 under and 76,000 great shot points. Jeff Sudiak out of Ohio, 30 under. Brian Bernhardt out of Alexis, Illinois, 30 under. And then a handful of 29s. Not sure how today's setup is going to look, but let's hope that we can get somewhere on that leaderboard in the 28-29 range. If you've never played this course before, this is definitely a fun one to check out. It is not that old, only a few years, but it does have a fun, drivable par 4 coming up. And I say fun and drivable until I ultimately screw it up, and then it will no longer be fun for me. But up until we get there, let's see what happens. And with hole 1 being drivable, and the first 3 holes now being eagle holes, really good opportunity. So this is drivable par 4. I remember the conversations with myself, Adam Kramer, course designer and co-creator of Golden Tee, Jim Zielinski. He did not want us to tell people that this shot was available because the shot we're going to go for, it's a little off-center, so it might be more difficult than you have previously seen, but you're going to go through that window up there and end up on the green in 1. If you're not comfortable trying that, because you can screw yourself up. If you miss that shot on the wrong side, you can get a pretty bad penalty drop. So although Jim Z tried and did something different back then than he had ever done previously, he does penalize you if you screw that shot up. So you can play it safe, take a driver, punch it out there, get on the green, putt in for birdie. But I cannot do this preview video and not go for the shot. So we're going to high tee a 10.5 degree driver. We're going to barely sneak it in there, bounce it off of a bunch of walls. I highly recommend that you put roll on there because any spin will retain even though you're hitting inside of that building. So if you put backspin on there and shoot it through, there's a good chance that you might end up with a longer putt than you expected. So now I see why the scores are in the 29 range, because those first couple of holes are drivable. And since this is the 2008 courses, we are playing on the newer set of tees for that course. This par 3 sometimes can set up pretty long. This is a nice short but major elevation change one. Little 6 iron. I went with no spin because I have super spin clubs, so that elevation change, even with bite, really increases how much kickback you get. All right, number 5, the second par 5 of this course. Couple different options you can go with here. You can lay up here and take a 6 or 8 wood over. You're not going to necessarily get a direct look at the pin, but if you have an 8 wood, you should be able to go around those trees no problem. What you also can do is high tee a driver. I didn't get that out as far as I wanted, but you have the benefit of that rock wall being on the left-hand side, so you can get it on the fairway. Slight elevation change here. Not too much because of the position I'm in, but I have to be careful again because I am using super spin, so I'm just going to go ahead and softly hit this with bite. Should trickle back there close to the pin. If you're wondering where you can go, if you're a mobile player or maybe a new arcade player and you're just getting into the swing of things, goldentee.com/locations. Find any 2021 arcade game or PGA Tour edition game out there and you can play this course for 24 hours straight. So until midnight tonight on 11:59:59, before that course rolls over to tomorrow's Freaky Friday, you can get out there and play this course. Same pins, same wins, same tees, same everything for 24 hours. And, this is honestly, to me, a really good teaching tool for the brand new players out there, because you play 5 or 10 games or a handful of games and you can really improve your shots. It's the reason why you see people like Ryan McCook, Evan Gossett, Joe Massara, and these other players hitting such crazy scores at first glance, because they're playing games to learn the shots, to learn when to move their tee to the left or move it to the right. Now, hole 6 is typically a drivable par 4. As you can see on the bottom left hand of the screen, those tee boxes there, the original tee boxes. Now, still can technically get an eagle because you are dealing with a slight elevation change. I'm going to go and try to do a in between A-B out to the 1. Did not get exactly what I wanted, but I'm still in chipping range. So this might be a nice little 6-iron push. You know what? We're actually far enough back. We're going to use the 5 hybrid. Oh, just missed it. But yeah, you definitely would consider this an eagle hole. Even though that wind's in your face and it is 360, you do have a downhill slope. So you can at least get it within chipping range. And as some of the top guys would say, that would constitute calling it an eagle opportunity. Number 7, another longer par 3 that gets really chopped down with those newer set of tees from the 2018 courses. Down to just 110 plus yards here on this look. Don't want to get too cute because you don't want to get stuck in that rough and have to chip, but I guarantee you a handful of people are going to ace that hole today in the daily contest. Number 8, typically tee box is back here, so you got a couple different options. You can go right or left. You still can go to the right side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and hit a nice little A1. I'm not going to crush it. I do want to get it as far down as I can down the fairway, but you got to be careful. You don't want to get too far down there that you're in the rough, just because I want to be able to backspin this shot into the cup here. Again, I normally would hit backspin, but I'm going to behave and hit bite because of the small elevation change. And just like that, trickles right back at the cup. I was hoping for great shot points, but that's all right. I'll say it. Well, I always say it, let's be honest. But as long as I'm putting for eagle or putting for birdie or whatever the case may be, I am happy. Now, number 9, this par 4 may only be 468 yards in today's setup. You are farther back in the tee box, so it gets a little tricky here because you have a couple options. You can go aggressive on it. You can high tee, driver, big C3, and get it out as far as you can into that fairway. You might have an 8-wood, actually probably be closer to a 5-wood that you're going to have to cut around the big, I don't know if I can get it to go, but basically around this big rough wall right here. And with the wind blowing out to your right, that's not easy. Your other option would be to low tee a driver here and get it in the tunnel and then just go for it from there. But when you're in the tunnel, you do lose spin. You got to make sure you have a hybrid club. And so what I'm going to try to do here is I'm actually just going to put bite on this. I'm going to hit my 5-wood. What I want to do is kind of bounce it off the wall there and stick it to the fringe. And that's why I put bite. If this stops on the fringe or the first cut, I should be okay. So I'm on the first cut, which means I do retain some of my spin. And I do have a 3 hybrid here. So I think, keyword think, we should be okay there. Now, the problem is I hit that way too far to the right. I'm going to get lucky, but if you hit that pink stuff, it is essentially dirt and it stops. And I did kind of forget about that before I hit the shot. So I'm going to count my lucky stars that A, I didn't hit the wall inside of the tunnel, and B, that I didn't land on the pink dirt of this hole. So 14 after 9. Hole 1 is chippable. Hole 6 is also chippable. I just missed the chip. I got set up a little bit too far. So par is going to be around 15 under for 9 holes. Number 10, pretty straightforward. A little bit longer, par 3. Right 6, 11 mile an hour wind to the right. Just throw your 6 or 5 wood out there. Play the green slope. Pretty straightforward. And if you're a newer player to the game, again, like I said, this is a good tool, not just to learn how to cut the ball and to hit certain shots, especially the in-between, A and B or B and C, etc., but also to try to learn your distances of your clubs a bit more. I'll be honest, it took me a long time before I really paid enough attention to the distances on the clubs, and eventually it will shave off a stroke or two, if not more, as you play more. Now, number 11, this is the Design-A-Hole winner from back in the day, the old mill. Now, thankfully, we actually have a pretty open setup here. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to spend a tee and go all the way to the left-hand side because what I want to do, 6 wood is not a good club to try to cut and get cute with. I think everybody knows that. If you don't, it's a good club. Just don't try to do this with a 6 wood. I am going to take a 5 wood, and I'm going to hope that it clears this first tree right here. Well, I want to take it in between the house and over that tree to get backspin. I think what I'm actually going to do as I'm talking it through with you guys is I'm going to high tee a 6 wood. And I don't want to pound it, but I want to hit it hard enough that I get it around that house. That wind actually gives it a much more love than I was hoping for. But honestly, anywhere in that right side of the green, you might have a 30, 40, 50 foot putt, but the green slope is pretty manageable for this one. Moving on to number 12, couple different options with this pin here. You can go straight at it and just land there. What I'm actually considering is doing a C3 to get down to be even with the green. You got to be careful though. That wind's blowing ever so slightly to the left. So I am just going to play it safe and I'm just going to hit it straight and just get here. You have less green to work with. I would have preferred to be on the right side, but if the wind was blown to the right, no questions asked, boom, going for it. But I'm just going to play it smart. I've got a good game going here. You could even use a 5 wood here. I ended up sticking with the 3 wood. Maybe should have clubbed down and hit it a bit harder. So I'll have a putt here I'll probably miss. Hey, look at that. Reverse psychology. It works sometimes. All right, number 13, this par 3, slight elevation change up. Nothing really to worry about if you have a 5 iron or a 5 hybrid. I just want to hit that green and drop in the cup. Now, instead, what happened is I hit both of the fringes. Can this stop? Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. What happened is I hit both of the fringes and actually did not get any spin love. So, we're going to take the lob wedge. I missed the chip. That's okay. I tried getting a little too cute and pin seeking there with the 5 hybrid. So I can't say that I didn't necessarily deserve that. Now, I originally had a 0 hybrid club in my bag for this course. Not needed necessarily with the new tees because you usually get this shorter look. Now, this one is tough. People have bounced it off the wall to get on the green. Again, it's not a fun chip if you're stuck on the train tracks trying to have a short chip with a major elevation change. So I'm going to do what I normally don't do is I'm going to low tee a 3 hybrid and I'm just going to hit a full shot. So a lot of the top players, when they hit a full, they're pulling it all the way back to the C or the A and they're hitting it straight. This may or may not work. We'll see. It's not going to work because I got too much of it. So maybe want to hit it out and do less of a full and more of a C2.5. Now I'm just going to press my luck here. Probably didn't need roll. That's going to cause me to chip again. Or maybe go in the water. I'm going to put bite on there this time. Alright, much better chip than before. Still not ideal. So I bet you Ryan McCook has gone through and played this course plenty of times today to get these shots down pat. And then you have number 15, which is our old friend, the drivable par 5. Not a bad setup here. Not the perfect one. You're still gonna have to get really cute. I'm gonna medium tee my 10.5. I'm gonna pull it all the way back to the A and hit it. Not enough. I didn't hit it out far enough to the 2. So we're gonna suffer there a little bit. We got the better drop, which is really nice. Maybe we can had a chance at the eagle still. But with that wind blowing out towards the water, you got to be careful. You got to make sure that you get it out far enough. You'd rather have a chip for double eagle from a little bit farther left side of the green or even in the rough versus what I did, which was have a 50-yard shot for eagle putting in for birdie. Hole 16 is a lot harder than it looks. Just make sure you're careful with this because the fairway does slope down a lot. Unfortunately, there's no really good way to escape the elevation change here, so this is where you got to put some of that skill to the test. That pin being in the back of the green, right up against that wall of rough, does not help either. I'm just going to put roll on this. I'm going to push it forward. Now, I didn't pull it back because I did not want to get the full strength of my 5-wood here. Definitely did not need roll. It won't hurt me too much. You just obviously want to avoid hitting that big wall of rough. And I somehow put that too far to the right, but that's okay. Now, hole 17, this is a fun one. New tees from this year, that year's course, make it much more shorter, a little bit more manageable, and honestly more aceable. I put backspin on there just because I've got that down 8 green slope that's going to push it down towards the pin. Now, what's going to make or break your game potentially is the setup on hole 18. Okay, this is much, much easier. So this is one of the original, pins, so to speak. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier than teeing off from an elevated distance in through that little channel. Because you got a 16, if that 16-mile-an-hour wind was blowing to like the 4 or the 5 o'clock, this would be perfect. It's blowing out to the 1 or 2.5. It's going to make this a tough shot, especially with the 6-wood. But I feel like I don't have a choice but to go with the 6. Now you're going to probably end up chipping, and this is where I just push and pray with my 5 hybrid, and the pin just got in the way. So, not the score that we were looking to put up. A couple of pin positions, tee box setups that are a little bit tricky. Again, this is my first look at today's daily contest setup for Throwback Thursday on Rhineland. So, if this was one where we were playing 3 or 4 contests, I'm sure we could get up to that 28, 29 range. But this is a small taste of today's contest. GoldenTee.com/locations to find a 2021 arcade game near you. Play this as many times as you want until 12 a.m. Central Time, and we will see you guys tomorrow for Freaky Friday.